looking for a deal. Nothing I could hear. Started getting dark and my boys wasn't fear. Oh, shit. Maybe Bigfoot. Maybe even hogs. Creeping on your boy got me saying, good Lord. Shalom, everybody. What up, baby? I'm out here. What's the business? Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the next reading with SHILO episode, man. We on part 14. Part 14 of the slave revolution in the Caribbean, 1789 to 1804, man. We on part 14. Yeah, I've been in them woods since 4-something this morning, man. We was out there and then had to come back, handle business, and then went back out there again and ain't seen nothing. We heard a couple of things. I heard some branches cracking and stuff, but ain't nothing showed his face. Because if it showed his face, I'd have put it in his place. The refrigerator. Get in my freezer. Get in my freezer, Bambi. Bambi daddy, Bambi mama, get in my freezer. But since we out the woods now, it's time to get back to rowing. Now we got to catch up. We got to catch up, man. I can't go without rowing today. So we got to catch up. We got to catch up. We are on section 30 of the book. Jean-Baptiste Bellet. Jean-Baptiste Bellet. That's where we at, man. Section 30, man. We almost done with the book, man. We on page 144. And we got to 197. It ain't that far off. We are not that far off. We moving along. Keep moving along, man. What's up with y'all? I hope everybody good. I hope everybody's had a wonderful day. I hope everybody has moved and did the things that they need to do, succeeded. You have all that you need to succeed. Did you succeed today? Did you? I didn't succeed at killing no deer. I know that. But we're about to succeed at rowing through the sea of pages that have been laid down to us throughout the ages. I'm going to go here. I'm going to go there. I'm going to look high. I'm going to search low. I'm going to dig till I find what treasures hide for me. What treasures are waiting. What can we learn and grow from? But when you come on in, man, when you come into the house, man, be respectful. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell your people, SHILO out here reading shit, baby. That boy out here. That man, not that boy. That man out here reading shit. And we're going to get it going, man. What's up? What's up? Shalom, shalom, shalom. Oh, man. We're going to see where this reading takes us tonight. How far can I get tonight, man? We almost to section 5. We almost to part 5. I mean, part 5 of the book. Maybe I could read three sections, maybe. We'll see. However long. We're going to read for the hour. We're going to read for the hour tonight. Sorry, the woods kept y'all waiting. The woods kept me away from y'all. But we back, baby. I wish I could have told y'all I had some meat on the ground. Shit. That'd have been lovely. But anyway, hey, before we get to reading, let's get the routine going, man. We're going to work our body, work our mind, work our body again. I hope you're ready. Get your fat ass up. Get your lazy ass up. Get your procrastinating ass up, man. We got to do some stuff, man. We got to get bigger, better. All of them. We about to read. We about to get on. What up, Douglas? What up, Douglas? How you doing? And Angelique, what's up? What's the business? How you doing? Welcome to Reading with SHILO. We reading. You ain't read the description, but that's all right. We're gonna read the slave revolution in the Caribbean, 1789 to 1804. That's what we are getting into. We're getting to part 14 of the book. Part 14, Part 14, which is section 30 of the book, Jean-Baptiste Bellet. And we're going to keep reading about the uprisings and the revolts and the insurgencies and up in Haiti and St. Martinique and Guadeloupe and Jamaica and down here in New Orleans that they was trying to stop because they didn't want that shit to spread. And the French was going back and forth trying to quell some of the revolts by emancipating the slaves and the mulattoes and trying to instill what they call the code noir, which is the black codes, but I still don't know if there's any different between the black codes that they had here in the States. But before we get into that, before we dive into the sea of pages that has been laid to us by Mr. Dubois and Mr. Garrigus, we're going to work our body. We're going to work our body. 25 things. That's all I ask for you, man. It ain't much. That ain't shit. 25 things. You can't do 25 things. 25 things. Do 25 somethings. Whatever's good for you. Whatever work good for you. 25 somethings. 25 something. Just don't cheat yourself, man. Just thought we're trying to build a better habit. We're trying to build a better us. A better me. Hopefully a better you. Let's build it. Let's get better. Man, you never know when you're going to need that little extra oomph. A little extra oomph. 25 things. Let's get it, man. 25 things. What you going to do? I don't know what you're going to do, but I know what I'm going to do. 25 things. Let's go. We're going to rock it. I'm going to do 50. All I ask of you is 25 things, though. Since I'm the captain of the ship, I'm going to give you 50. But 25 things. Let's roll. Work your body. Work your body. Work your body. Work your body right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Well, I definitely feel that thing all at the top. All at the top across that thing right there. 30. Let's go. Let's keep feeling it. 31, 32, 33, 34, 5, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 8, 49. One more, baby. 50. I gave you 50. Did you do 25 things for me? 25 things for yourself. All right. All right, now it's time to read. Let's roll. Let's get to rolling. Let's get to rolling. Get to rolling. The sea of pages awaits us. What treasures will we find? What can we learn and grow from? That's what we're about to see. As we read about Mr. Jean-Baptiste Belley. All right. This is part 14. Part 14 of the slave revolution in the Caribbean, 1789 to 1804 by Mr. Dubois and Mr. Garrigus. Jean-Baptiste Belley, section 30. We're almost done with the book. We are almost done. That's all we got left. True colors of the planters or the system of the Hotel Messiac, exposed by Gouly in 1795. All right, if you're new here, whatever words, if it come across a word I don't know, I will look it up. I will look it up, whether it be Terminator, whether I use the Terminator, which I don't really like to use, but I use the Terminator. Or I'll pull out the dictionary. We're going to figure out what these words mean so we can try to get a better understanding of what's being said to us or what's being written about. So bear with me. In late 1794, early 1795, planters serving in the National Convention began to attack France's emancipation policies. Marie Bonnet Louise Gouly, a representative of the Indian Ocean colonies, presented a speech claiming that blacks in the Caribbean had reverted to barbarism and laziness since the end of slavery. And Jean-Baptiste Belley, who had represented Saint Dominique since 1794, refuted the assertions of Gouly, whose name is spelled G-O-U-L-I, Gouly, and defended emancipation with a speech that drew on his own experiences as an African-born survivor of the slave trade and slavery. They tell you, legislators of the free people, that they dare write that your sublime decree of 16 Plovios on the 4th of February of 1794 is disastrous, impolitic, and barbarous. The planters announced from the rooftops that they will have it recalled, and you have given back liberty to 2 million men torn from their homeland by greed. You have broken their too heavy chains, the instruments of their miseries and of their torture. A man, a tiger, who for 20 years devoted himself to torturing Africans in the Isle de France, who made himself happy by taking advantage of the sweat and blood of these unfortunates, that man stands up today against the happy day whose light you have brought to those unfortunates. His dangerous avarice has made him lose sight of his principles and his duties, and which one of you was not filled with indignation and pity in reading the bizarre portrait of Gulli has made of the blacks? Is it indeed a man that this planter sought to paint? Yes, citizens, it is a man without vices. For if he had the vices of his oppressors for 2 centuries, he would have long ceased to exist. But this man, brutalized by slavery, the whip always suspended over his head, brought back to childhood by horrible and cruel punishments that degrade humanity and modesty. This man is not without feelings. His weathered soul, dead to hope, lived for a long time with the discouragement inspired by his happy and cruel tyrants. Often in secret, I wiped away the bitter tears of the desperate misery, and the development of the energetic thought would surely lead to the death of the slave who expressed it. And their oppressors come here and describe them as brutes and reproach them for having souls with no shape. Hey, Gulli, you hear? You who dare so profane nature, you prove well that it is you that has no soul. Do you believe, citizens and colleagues, that nature is unjust, that it has made some men to be the slaves of others, as the planters assert? Doesn't this unworthy claim show you that the principles of these horrible destroyers of the human species? I myself was born in Africa, brought in childhood to the land of tyranny, and through hard work and sweat, I conquered a liberty that I have enjoyed honorably for 30 years, and loving my country all the while. The tortures of the black lie shamelessly when they dare assert that these oppressed men are brutes. If they do not have the vices of Europe, like that sugar dope, that sugar dope. There we go. That sugar dope. That's what the Europeans was on. So much that that was the purpose of bringing a lot of the slaves or a lot of the people and enslaving a lot of the people in the islands for the sugar. They have the virtues of nature. Is it in their name, in the name of all my brothers who are sensible and thankful beings, who have all been brought back to life by the unexpected appearance of happiness and liberty, that I urge you to maintain your benevolent laws? These laws are, I know, the terror of the slaves' tyrants. And yes, I attest that what the English and Spanish possess of the French portion of Saint Dominic was delivered to them by planters of all colors, owners of slaves. And the whites especially, born dominators, employed treachery and seduction to drag into the rebellion the property owners of color whose vested interests opened them up to criminal influences. I also attest that if the English failed to take over all of Saint Dominic, it is because the blacks who have become free and the French have made a rampart with their bodies against the invasion and are bravely defending the rights of the Republic. It is certain that if these brave patriots had arms and ammunition, the underserving blood of the English and the planter traders would water this land that has been dirtied by their presence for too long. Let me see, who is this? They got a picture of somebody. Okay, this is a portrait of Jean-Baptiste Belly in 1798. This famous portrait of the African-born Belly presents an intriguing visual analysis of the relationship between pre-revolutionary anti-slavery thought embodied in the bust of the Abbé Raynal, an 18th century philosopher and historian, and the revolutionary leaders of who emerged from St. Dominic. Who does the painter perceive, excuse me, not who, how does the painter perceive the connection between Belly and Raynal? Jean-Baptiste Belly. Look at that boy. Ooh, that boy leaning up on that thing. Look at them clothes that boy got on. Jean-Baptiste Belly. Shalom, shalom. Jean-Baptiste Belly. 31, section 31, Toussaint Louverture. The refutation of some assertions in a speech pronounced in the corpse of Lagistif by Venat Vablanc, 1797. In 1797, several conservative planters were elected to the Corps Legislatif Francis parliamentary body, and one of them, Vincent Marie Vannet de Vablanc, delivered a speech that sharply criticized the Black leaders of St. Dominic and portrayed the situation on the island as one of chaos, violence, and tyranny. And Louverture received a copy of this speech and wrote this response aimed at von Vablanc and another detractor of emancipation, General Donatien Rochambeau. Donatien Rochambeau. Why that name sound familiar? Rochambeau. The response is organized in a form of refutations of their assertions. Toussaint Louverture, General-in-Chief of the Army of St. Dominic, to the Executive of the Directory. Citizen Directors, at a moment when I thought I had rendered an eminent service to the Republic and to my co-citizens, just when I had proven my gratitude for the justice of the French people towards us, just when I thought I had rendered myself worthy of the confidence the government has placed in me, and that I will never cease to deserve, a speech given in the midst of the Courts Legislatif during the session of May 27th, 1974 by Venat Vablanc has been sent to me from the United States. And it has pained me in reading it to see that on every page my intentions are slandered and the political existence of my brothers is threatened. Such a speech, spoken from the mouth of a man whose fortune has been momentarily removed by the revolution of St. Dominic, wouldn't have surprised me. He who loses has the right to a certain point to complain. But that such a declamation without which cannot claim as But that such a declamation which cannot calm us or encourage the cultivators to work, but which on the contrary produces the opposite effect by making them bitter, by making them think that the representatives of the French people are their enemies, was approved and sanctioned by the Court Legislatif itself. That is what affected me so profoundly. To justify myself in your eyes and in the eyes of my co-citizens, whose esteem I desire, I will try to refute the assertions of the citizen Vablanc and those who furnished him with information, and finally, I will try to prove it. In this case, the enemies of our liberty have been driven only by a spirit of personal vengeance, and that they have constantly shown contempt for the public interest and scorn for the Constitution. First assertion, I will investigate the state of St. Dominic. I will examine the acts of the agents of the Directory, and I will prove that this unfortunate island has arrived at the most extreme degree of misery. Convinced in reflecting on the spirit that dictated this report, that citizen Venat Vablanc, representative of the people, wishes to insinuate that the effects of this misery derive from the liberty granted to the blacks, it will be easy for me to demonstrate that liberty itself would have produced only good if those who had been charged with dispensing it had not used that sacred word to expand their personal power. The northern region, and particularly the area around Le Cap, were the parts of the colony that suffered the most from the effects of the revolution. The town of Le Cap was always the center of all political discussions and intrigues, and politically, particularly during the revolution. Their resistance was stronger, and the blacks of the area, as well as the men of color witnessing the disastrous projects that certain whites had in store for them, were pushed first by them, then by the need to defend their personal security, to acts of self-defense that led to civil war. But it would be easy for me to prove, if I had more time, that it was the Europeans themselves who first put torches in the hands of my unfortunate brothers and who played the leading roles in the murders of the fires that were committed. The neighborhood of Caracol, which was not as directly under the influence of Le Cap, and whose residents have always shared in the boon of liberty, has stayed intact through the revolution, and its cultivators, occupied both with pushing back the attacks of brigands and with working the land, have never abandoned their plantations, and today this part of the colony is flourishing as much as it was before the revolution. And as for the northern part, which truly had suffered a great deal of order relative to individuals, is as perfectly reestablished as one could desire, and agriculture is making important progress every day. These results are very different from those citizens of our Blanc wants to present. Now, the second assertion, everything comes together to paint a colony that is in the most horrible state of disorder, suffering under the military government. And what a military government! In whose hands has it been placed? Those of ignorant and crude Negroes, incapable of distinguishing between the most extreme license and austere liberty guided by laws. It was the blacks who, when France was threatened by losing the colony, used their arms and their weapons to conserve it, to require most of the areas that treason had handed to the Spanish and the English. It was the blacks who, with the good citizens of the two other colors, rushed to save the general-in-chief, Etienne Laveau. Now, this was the behavior of the blacks in whose hands citizen Vianet von Bloch says the military government of St. Dominic has been placed. And these are the Negroes he accuses of being ignorant and crude. They certainly are, because without education, there is nothing but ignorance and crudeness. But must we blame them for the crime of the lack of education, or accuse those who prevented them from gaining it by threatening them with the most atrocious punishments? And can only citizens, civilized people, distinguish between good and evil, have just notions about benevolence and justice? The men of St. Dominic have been deprived of education, but precisely because of that, they have remained closer to nature. And they do not deserve to be put in a separate class from the rest of humanity and to be confused with the animals because they have not arrived to the degree of perfection that education provides. We can certainly reproach the people of St. Dominic, including the blacks, for many mistakes and even horrible crimes. But in the battle between despotism and liberty, have we not seen the inhabitants of France itself, where society's rules are well established, giving themselves over to all the excesses that the enemies of the blacks reproached them for? The fury of the two parties was equal in St. Dominic, and if, in these moments of crisis, the excesses of the blacks did not exceed those committed in Europe, must not an impartial judge pronounce himself in favor of the former? And according to our enemies themselves, whose present us as ignorant and crude? Are we not more excusable than those who are not deprived of the advantages of civilization as we were? Surrounded by furious enemies, by masters who were often cruel without any supporters other than the benevolent intentions of the Friends of Liberty in France, whose existence we were barely aware of, pushed from error to excess by the opposing parties that were destroying each other rapidly, at first knowing only those laws of the motherland that favored our enemies' claims, and since emancipation, receiving instructions from our government only every 6 months, and every year, every 6 months or every year, no assistance, and nearly constant insults and condemnations from our former oppressors. How can we not be forgiven for going astray for a few moments and for a few crude mistakes of which we have been the first victims? And most of all, why would anyone wish to burden the vast majority of blacks, innocent men, with the errors of a few who over time and through the work of the former have been brought to order and to respect the higher authorities? The fifth assertion. It will be difficult, I think. General Rochambeau continues to reestablish order among the looters and destroyers because they control the Africans and will push them to revolt when we want to diminish their influence and take their money. I even do not hesitate to predict that after having armed them, one day we will be forced to wage war on them to force them back into cultivation. You damn right. You damn right you will. I'm supposed to be free. Free to do what the hell I want. Free to do what seemeth right. Free to follow my own religion. Free to make up my own laws. Free. That's what freedom is. Freedom. General Rochambeau's prediction will probably come to pass if he returns at the head of an army to enslave the blacks, because then, with the Constitution in one hand, they will defend the liberty it guarantees. But the idea that an army is necessary to force them to go back to their field labor has already been completely disproved by what has been done in agriculture during the past year. I will not repeat here what I said at the beginning of my letter, but I will not be refuted when I argue that agriculture is prospering in St. Dominique, far beyond the hopes of the true friends of this colony. That the zeal of the cultivators is as satisfying as one might desire, and that the effects of their field labor might surprise some, considering that in the middle of the war, they are often forced to take up arms for our defense and that of our liberty, to which we are attached more than we are to life itself. And if there are among them some men stupid enough not to understand the necessity of work, their chiefs have enough control over them to make them understand that without work, there is no liberty. May France be just towards its children of the colonies, and soon its commerce and its inhabitants will no longer resent the riches taken from it during the greatest prosperity. But if the French government is influenced by Von Blanc's projects, it should remember that in the heart of Jamaica, in the Blue Mountains, there exists a small number of men so jealous of their liberty that they have forced the proud and powerful English to respect their natural rights, which the French Constitution still guarantees us. Eighth assertion. Soon after the arrival, the agents had the imprudence to welcome the Negres, or the Negre, who had fought under Jean-Francois, the chief of the rebels, who had burned the plain and destroyed the most beautiful part of the colony. And further down, the Negres have everywhere abandoned agriculture. And today, their cry is that this land belongs to them and that they don't want to see a single white person there. I agree. Take them pink people off the island. At the same time that they swear to the whites, that is to say to the real French, a furious hatred, a ferocious hatred. They fight a cruel war among themselves. And it would not please God if, to improve the cause of the blacks, I denied the fact that some of them have committed excesses, and subterfuge is alien to me. I will tell the truth, even if it speaks against me. And I admit that the reproaches that are made here against Jean-Francois' troops are well deserved. This is not the first time I have deplored his blindness, but this was the frenzy of the few individuals and not of all the blacks. Must we use the term outlaw, both for those who committed these crimes and for those who repressed them, for those who persisted in their guilty conduct and for those who fought to force them to return to their duty? If because some blacks have committed cruelties, one can argue on this basis that all blacks are cruel, we would have the right to accuse the French in Europe and all the world's nations of barbarism. But the French Senate will not partake in such an injustice. It will be able to reject the passions that the enemies of liberty have stirred up. It will not confuse the uncontained and undisciplined band of men who, since the reign of liberty in St. Dominic, have given undeniable proof of their loyalty to the Republic and have spilled their blood for it, have assured its triumph, and who, by acts of goodness and humanity, by their return to order and work, through their attachment to France, have certainly paid back the errors into which their enemies pushed them into, and into which their ignorance carried them. Obedient to the voice of reason, they will always return to it, and when their true friends can make themselves heard. If it was true that the blacks was so unjust as to think that the properties of St. Dominic belonged to them, why would they not have made themselves the masters of them by chasing away men of other colors, who would be very easy to overcome because of their numbers? If they had sworn a ferocious hatred against whites, why is it that the white population of the town of Lecomte today equals that of the blacks and the men of color? How is it that more than one half of these leasing sugarcane plantations on the Cap Plain are white? If union and fraternity do not reign among men of all colors, would we see the whites, the reds from people of color, and the blacks living in the most perfect equality? The citizen Blanc seems attached to stirring up the passions of the men of St. Dominic and to reestablish barbarous prejudices, thereby publishing that in St. Dominic only the whites are truly French. Does this include the traitors paid by the English to those who, after carrying out foul acts of treason, introduced this perfidious? What is perfidious? What is perfidious? Does anybody know? Perfidious. What is perfidious? Perfidious. 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 Let's write it down. See what it be. Perfidious. 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 Let's see if it's in the dictionary first before I go to the Terminator. Perfidious. Introduce this perfidious nation on the territory of liberty. Perfidious. P-E-R. Per. P-E-R-F. Perfume. Perfidious. Perfidy. Perfidy. No. Perfidious. Perfidies. It means treachery and faithlessness, but I know that's not the word I'm looking for. Oh, isn't it? Google it. Let's go to the Terminator. Perfidious. Perfidious definition.
Here's the definition of perfidious: literary, deceitful and untrustworthy.
Does this include the traitors paid by the English, those who, after carrying out foul acts of treason, introduced this deceitful or untrustworthy nation on the territory of liberty?
Perfidious.
Perfidious. I had it right. Perfidious. Does this include the traitors paid by the English, those who, after carrying out foul acts of treason, introduced this perfidious nation on the territory of liberty? In that case, we would make it an honor not to deserve this honorable name. But if the friends of liberty classify under this respectable denomination, under this respectable denomination, men who are submitted in heart and spirit to the French Constitution, to its benevolent laws, men who cherish the French, who are friends of their country, we swear that we have and will always have the rights to be called French citizens. Less enlightened than Citizen von Blanc, we know nevertheless that there must exist among men, whatever their color, only one distinction, that between the good and the evil, and law-abiding blacks, men of color and whites, must be equally protected. And when they stray from the law, they must be equally punished. Such is my opinion, and such is my wish. And in this matter, I call on the justice of Europeans who have stayed in or who return to the colony. Sooner or later, they will instruct France. They will destroy the crude calumnies of Citizen von Blanc. What is that? Calumnies. They will expose how treacherous, unjust, and impolitic his declamations are. Let's see what calumnies. 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 I think that's how you pronounce it. Calumnies. Calumnies definition.
Here's the definition of colony.
Calumnies. Not columns, sucker. Calumnies. CALUMN. Calumny. Calumnies. Calumnies. To make of false or defamatory statements about someone in order to damage their reputation. Slander. A bitter struggle marked the calumnies, a false and slanderous statement. Calumnies. I call on the justice of Europeans who have stayed in or who return to the colony, and sooner or later they will instruct France. They will destroy the crude, false and slanderous statements of Citizen von Blanc, or the crude calumnies of von Blanc. They will expose how treacherous and unjust and impolitic his declamations are. Calumnies. 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 Section 32. The Council of the 500. Law on the colonies. Let me see how far we got. We're going to see, man. I might try to get to this section 5 or this part 5. We'll see. 32. The Council of the 500, Laws of the Colonies in 1798. In 1798, the Council of the 500, one of two bodies making the France's corps legislatif, passed a law that was meant to solidify the colonial policies of the previous years. It developed the implications of another law from the same period, the Law of 4 Brumaire, and on 25th October 1791, mentioned in Article 8 of this law, which included the colonies as departments like any others within the territorial limits of France. It also made clear that the French Constitution was to be applied in these colonies. A year later, however, the provisions of this law were swept away by Bonaparte's new colonial policy. And the law itself contains many contradictions, combining a generous granting of citizenship with provisions against vagrancy that limited the freedom of former slaves. And nevertheless, it stands as a testament to the radical political project that aimed at erasing the political boundaries between metropole and colony and between blacks and white. The Council of 500 considered that it is of immediate importance to organize the Constitution in the colonies and to take all political, governmental, and legislative measures that will contribute to their reconstruction, has passed the following resolution, Title I of Agents. First article, the executive of the Directory is authorized to send 3 agents to St. Dominic, 3 to Guadeloupe, and the other islands of the Eastern Caribbean, and 1 for Cayenne. 8. The agents of the executive of the Directory are charged with executing, on their arrival in the colonies, the law of 4 Brumaire of this month, October 25th, 1797, on the division of the territory and to successfully apply all the parts of the Constitution. 11. Or is that 9? All right, you have to wait. I'm almost done, sir. Nine. I'm gonna call it 9. The one before the X is the one before the X 9. Is the one before the X 9. Roman numerals. Yes, I was right. 9. 9. They are also authorized to develop administratively regulations that for a cultivation based on the Constitution, which will be provisionally executed until the publication of laws passed on this subject by the Corps Legislatif. These regulations will include the reciprocal obligations of property owners and cultivators, means for the education of children, and the subsistence of the elderly and the sick. They will favor growth in population by encouraging marriage and rewarding the fertility of legitimate unions. Title number 3 of the status of the rights of the citizens. 14. The declaration of 4 citizens from a commune will be enough to establish the age of individuals whose birth is not inscribed in the public registers that serve to determine the status of citizens, and this declaration will be inserted in the registers. The inscription will be considered a birth declaration. 15. Black or colored individuals who were taken from their homelands and transported to the colonies are not considered foreigners. They enjoy the same rights as an individual born in French territory as long as they work as cultivators, serve in the army, or exercise a profession or trade. 16. An individual convicted of vagrancy by a court of law will be stripped of the rights granted in the previous article until they have once again taken up cultivation, a trade, or a profession. 17.
You almost done?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
How can I help you?
Can you give me a fifth one, please?
That's all you want?
Yes, sir.
Can I get a hug?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I love you, my son. You feeling okay?
Yes, sir.
I'm so glad I get to be your father another day, sir. We have all we need to succeed, sir. And we're going to succeed. Can you succeed?
Yes, sir.
That's right, my boy. All right, let me finish reading.
Ow, right my side.
Did you hit your side? You hit it.
I hit down here. Ow.
All right. 17. Any person who cannot provide proof of a domicile or of a known status will be considered a vagrant. 18. All Black individuals born in Africa or in foreign colonies and transferred to the French islands will be free as soon as they set foot on the territory of the Republic. To gain the right of citizenship, they will be, in the future, subject to the conditions prescribed by Article 10 of the Constitution. Article 10 ain't in here. 19. Any citizen who wishes to enjoy the right to vote in the primary assemblies will declare at the time of the population tables order drawn up by Article 12 of the present law that he wishes to pay a personal contribution equal to 3 days of agricultural work. He will be required, under pain of having his suffrage rights taken away, to present a receipt showing he has paid it at least 10 days before the primary assemblies are held. 20. It will also be sufficient to enjoy the advantage granted by Article 9 of the Constitution, to bring to the municipal administration 10 days before the primary assemblies are held a certificate from the administrative council that attests that one has served during the revolution in one or several campaigns against the enemies of the Republic. Title 18, Public Education. What is L? Let me see. $50. LXXX. 86. 86. Title 86. Oh no, my bad. Title 18, Public Education. 86. The agent of the directory are charged with organizing public education in the colonies as quickly as possible according to the existing law. Oh, my bad, that was 85. This one's 86. 86. Each year on the 1st of the germinal, 21st of March. What's a germinal? Germinal. Germinal. I wonder if it has something to do with the planting, since it's the cultivating. I wonder if it's the planting time, the germinal. Germinal definition.
Here's the definition of germinal, relating to or of the nature of a germ cell or embryo.
The earliest stage of development, providing the material for future development. The subject was revived in the Germinal article by Charles Ferguson. Germinal. Early 17th century, in the sense relating to spring, from the late Latin germinalis, of a seed, from the Latin word germen, sprout, to seed.
Germinal.
The seventh month of the French Republic calendar, 1793 to 1805, originally running from March 21st to April 19th. Germinal. the germinal time. Each year on the 1st of germinal, 21st of March. Is that what it says? Yep, 21st of March. The day of the Festival of Youth, there will be chosen in each department from among the students of the central schools 6 young individuals without distinction of color, who will be transported to France at the expense of the nation and supported during the time necessary for their education in the special schools. Germinal. We're going to read this last section. Section 33, Etienne Laveau. Etienne Laveau. A celebration of the anniversary of abolition, 1798. We got 3 pages. Several weeks after the Corps Legislatif passed the 1798 law on the colonies, Etienne Laveau and other pro-emancipation leaders celebrated the 4th anniversary of the abolition of slavery with speeches that outlined their vision for the future of the colonies. Laveau's speech defended Toussaint Louverture at a time when his conduct in Saint Dominique was being increasingly criticized in Paris. Representatives of the people, I have asked permission to speak to celebrate one of the most illustrious days of our immortal revolution. It was on 16th Pluvios, year 2, February 4th, 1794, that the abolition of slavery in our colonies was decreed. And until then, liberty, the protector of our republic, had enabled it to triumph everywhere. And on that day, a grateful republic in return made liberty triumph. What victory could better represent a people and owe the sublime effect of true philosophy? The republic on 16th Pluvios carried out a request of the kind unknown until then. It conquered the human race, or rather it created, through a single strong and precise idea, a million new beings, and in so doing expanded the family of man. My colleagues, let us abandon ourselves for a moment to the pure emotion that we feel and give thanks for the 16 Pluvios. Let us give thanks to liberty, which reserve the glory of this great, just, and generous action for the French Republic. The wretched memory of the agent slavery, abject. That's why I couldn't pronounce it wrong. The wretched memory of the abject slavery that darkened our colonies is now far, far from us. Abject. Abject definition.
Here's the definition of abject: of something bad, experienced or present to the maximum degree.
The wretched memory of the bad slavery, of a people or their behavior, completely without pride or dignity, self-abasing. The wretched memory of the self-abasing slavery, the wretched memory of the bad experienced slavery, or the abject slavery that darkened our colonies is now far, far from us. Let us fully celebrate this national contribution in our speeches and our deliberations. We may hear talk of only the mass of the colonial population and not of this and that color. And in our colonies, all is French. And this system is absolute unity. This system of absolute unity will make our disconcerted enemies grow pale with rage. And from that moment, the metropole will send out the signal that will lead to colonial prosperity. You will soon hear it repeated by our brothers in the colonies. They will cry, "Love for the laws, unity, and work." Love for the laws, unity, and work. I don't really know if they're going to cry that shit. In our colonies, nature is now doing its work of regeneration. It is up to you, fathers of the nation. It is up to the government to assist in this work. But citizen representatives, your paternal solicitude for all the groups of our vast republic will ask for an account of what our colony of St. Dominic has been like since the beginning of the reign of liberty. What has she been doing while the metropole itself has been advancing toward its brilliant destiny? You will permit me, citizen representatives, to avoid all details. I think they will be of no use. I will tell you only, my colleagues, that liberty has lit an electric blaze among these inhabitants. They had electricity back then? Did they have electricity back then to know what an electric blaze was? What year was electricity had? It's 1798. What year was electricity widespread? Electricity became common in, I don't want to hear the United States. What year was electricity widespread in France? Electricity became widespread in France in the late 1870s and early 20th century. 1878, Paris installed the first electric street lights. The electric light's harsh white lights was a contrast to the gas lamp's muted glow. That liberty has lit an electric blaze among these inhabitants. And this is 1798. Did he really know about electricity then? It consumed the rebels and fired the others among these inhabitants. It consumed the rebels and fired the others with a desire to be worthy of the motherland. We saw them come down from the hills immediately to fight the enemies of the republic. And without a doubt, there were bad citizens among the inhabitants of this colony and even immigrants. There were political volcanoes and unforeseen eruptions. But do we forget that our colonies were in the center of the power of the implacable enemy of France? Was it surprising that they were devastated by its influence, which has been so dangerous for the metropole itself? Sweet shores, you were destined to suffer because you had to attract to your waters the greedy and the Machiavellian English. Repulsed from the continental France simply by the shock of its size, they thought they could throw themselves on our colonies as on some helpless prey. They surrendered them with their ships. They surrounded them with their ships, made them suffer all provisions, sowed misery and scarcity there. What wealth, what troops they did use to relieve their rage against St. Dominic. But their efforts, their promises, their gold, everything paled before the loyalty of the men that 16 pluvials made into French citizens. These Republicans have triumphed over the English, who have been forced to evacuate the land of liberty. It is to the brave General Toussaint Louverture that the Republic owes this precious advantage. He mounted the general attack with such wisdom and organization that the frightened English had to surrender in order to retreat, and already they have left our lands. Such is the work of this general, who is faithful to his oaths, who is tightly tied to the French Republic. I remember with pleasure that already in the year 5 of 1979, I tried to describe him to you. I told you, citizen representatives, they dare call him a disorganizer, Well, it is thanks to him, thanks to his commitment to pursuing and arresting vagrants, that we owe the first agriculture success. He was able to convince the Black citizens of the necessity of work and to respect the property owners. He sincerely wants to reestablish the reestablishment of the colony and the Republic's commercial prosperity. He is guided by Article 6 of the Constitution, and the colonies are an integral part of the Republic, and he knows he must not and cannot detach himself from it without committing a horrible crime, which would soon be punished by France. 5 years as a commander in this far-off lands has convinced me that the inhabitants of St. Dominic, 2,000 leagues away from the metropole, may indeed make errors and commit mistakes. But they have also convinced me that they will never lose sight of the glorious title of French citizens. They have convinced me that they will vanquish the English and all the enemies of the Republic to secure their liberty. They are willing to give the Republic their virtues, their talents, their tastes, their desires, and even the years of their old age. Like the ancient Romans, they will devote the same resources to the most precious and useful art, the cultivation of the land. They will understand that it is the only and the unique way to make commerce flourish. As they have made the Republic since shine through the splendor of their arms and the number of their victories. And we're going to stop it there. We're going to stop it right there and come back next time, which will probably be early in the morning. I'll get to it. We'll come back next time with part 5, the Haitian Revolution and the United States. Section 34, Thomas Jefferson. Oh, man. Finally, a name not hard to pronounce. We're on page 159. We stopped on page 159. Man. The fight for emancipation was a crazy one, man. To even have to go back and after getting emancipated and abolition of slavery in those islands, to have to be told that you still gonna work here. Go back to your plantation where you got your ass whipped. Go back to the plantation that killed your dad or your mom or your brother, your sister, sold your children. Go back to them, work for it. And if you don't, we're going to lock your ass up. That don't really sound like freedom to me. It don't really sound like freedom. Yeah, well, I guess these are the things that a person may have to go through. I would say that the revolution isn't over. I would say that the things that happened in this revolution, even though there was an emancipation and abolition of the slavery, was only the beginning. It's still only the beginning. But it seems to me that my people tend to get, what's the word I'm looking for? Tend to get and be complacent. That's the word, complacent. They got the first step down and done and set their asses down. Didn't continue to fight because they should have did like the people wanted and remove every pink people from the island. And they should have went island to island. Yes, sir. I just got to finish. Yeah, I'm almost done. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm almost done.
How many pages you got to do?
None.
None?
Yes, sir.
He's just talking through his phone.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I got
So I think it was a misstep. I think it was a misstep. A misstep to stop the fight. I think it was a misstep to, allow the pink people to stay, the pink people to still have a form of authority and power. I think it was a misstep. The pink people, the pink folks. Yeah, the pink folks will have you messed up, man. Because the pink folks can always come back later on and try to redo the laws as they have tried to do. And they said they were trying to do it. They were trying to revoke the laws. And they're doing those same things these days here in America. It's no different. There are laws that were made to help in a certain way that are being revoked. But I think that we shouldn't have stopped there. But hey, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens in due time. We see what happened to Haiti and how they're being treated, so say blacklisted, blackballed for wanting to be their own nation. And it's going to be hard. Anybody who wants to be on their own and governed by their own and governed by themselves and by their own set of laws will meet a rock and a hard place for sure. Especially when going against the status quo, especially if your law defies what the status quo is, or is directly directly what's the word? Adverse, I guess. Maybe adverse is the word. Maybe that's the word. Directly adverse to what the status quo is. Hey, but like I've said before, the revolution starts in your mind. And you have all that you need to succeed. You must break down the barriers and the plantations that you have built up here. You must knock off the slave masters that you have here. And until you do so, you will continue to be enslaved. Definitely here. And your actions will show it. Your actions, your character will show it. Yeah, we're going to keep pushing, man. That was a decent rowing session. I messed up, some places. I messed up here and there on some words, some sentences. But we pushed through. And we made it happen. We succeeded because I have all that I need to succeed. Succeed in small and work your way up to succeed in big. Just keep pushing. Succeed. We have it in us. We have everything we need in us to succeed. Hopefully I can succeed with knocking a deer lung loose before the season end. But hey, we done worked our body. We done worked our mind. Let's work our body one last time to go out, man. If you just catching, like, comment, subscribe, tell your people, SHILO out here reading shit, doing shit, man. We trying to be better. We trying to do better. Because you can. It's all on you. It's a choice. You have a choice. Choose wisely. 25 things. Do 25 things. But as the captain of the ship, man, I'm going to do me 50. But I ask you to do 25. And I'm going to keep doing my part, man. If reading is what it takes, or if reading is my part in the revolution, then I'll keep reading. Man, to destroy all the worlds that are in your minds, man. Let's destroy them worlds, man. Call me Shiloheimer, destroyer. For now, I have become the destroyer of worlds. Let's get it. 25 things. What you gonna do, man? I'm gonna do the same shit I did before. I'm gonna double it up. Since I did 50, I'm gonna do 50. That's gonna make me 100, man. See how the numbers add up. If you did 25 things earlier, do 25 more, and you did 50. And that might have been the only thing you did today, but at least you did something. Man. Some motion is better than no motion. And that little bit of motion gonna have you coasting for real. It's gonna have you moving. It's gonna have you feeling better. It might have you thinking better. That, man, I can do this. Man, let me do some more. Let me keep going. Let me be better. So, but anyway, give me the 25 things. 25 things, man. 25 things. 25 things, maybe. And you give me 50 if you want, but I'm going to give you 50. Let's go. 1, sit my ass up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Man, I definitely feel it. In my top chest. I like that. 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 40, 10 more. Let's rock it up. 10 more. 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 6, 7, 48, 49, 50. Throw that shit up. Get it up, y'all. That was my 50, man. That was my workout. I done worked my body, worked my mind, and worked my body. I hope you did something. I hope you did something. I hope there was something that what treasures did you find? What could you learn and grow from the CF pages that has been laid to us by Mr. Dubois and Mr. Garrigus in part 14? We don't have long left to go. The assassination of this book is almost complete. I'm going to keep knocking them down. Yeah, that's all we got left. I'm not going to read all of it. This is all we got left. It's not much. We should be able to finish it. You know, we should be able to finish it here soon. We should be able to finish it here soon. I don't want to put a date on it and lie, because I don't want to lie. Definitely a couple of days. If I read again tomorrow, and then I come back Sunday and read, I think we could be done by Tuesday, maybe. Maybe before that. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. We'll keep pushing them. One book at a time, one episode at a time, man. We'll keep rowing through these books. We'll keep rowing. I'll keep rowing. Keep going, man. One book at a time, one session at a time, one episode at a time, man. One page at a time. One paragraph at a time, one sentence at a time, line upon line, until the treasures we find that's been buried deep inside these books. That's what they say. You want to hide something from them? Put it in the book, because they're not going to read. But I'm reading. And we're going to try to expose the things that they have hidden. What don't they tell us? And there's a lot. But it's all great. It's all great. We succeeded. You have all that you need to succeed. If you could hear, if you could see, if you could think, if you could smell, talk, feel, walk, you have all that you need to succeed. You just have to choose to do so. Let's do it. I hope that your choice is to succeed at whatever it is that you do. What are you trying to do? What is the objective? What is your goal? Succeed at it. Succeed at it. Keep pushing to the end. Succeed. Let's succeed. We got this, man. Succeed. I walk the plank. Yeah. Pirate Longbeard. SHILO will make you walk the plank. Hey, but that's what it is, man. I'll try to be back early in the morning. If I wake up around 3 or 4 in the morning, then I'll come back and start on the next section. The next section. I was right. Next section of the book, which is once again part 5 of the book, The Haitian Revolution and the United States, section 34, Thomas Jefferson's letters in 1797-1802. Yeah, it's gonna be good to see what Thomas Jefferson thought about these revolts. What did he think about the insurrections? What did he think about it? Not in my America. Hey, we'll see. Hey, well, anyway, like, comment, subscribe. Tell your people SHILO out here reading shit, doing shit, man. We trying to grow some shit. Hey, man. We're going to see what it is, man. I hope everybody have a wonderful night, a wonderful day, wherever you at, whenever you see this. Catch you on the back end. Like, comment, subscribe. Hey, we'll be out here. Also, thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody who's continued to help push me up to 1,000 subscribers. We're almost there. We are almost to 1,000 subscribers. I haven't even checked. I just know we're almost there. Let me see what I got. 875. I'm at 875. The first goal is 1,000. We get to 1,000 subscribers, and then we're gonna keep on pushing up, and away from there. Up and away from there, man. One book at a time, man. One episode at a time. One session at a time. We're gonna keep pushing, man. Till next time, man. I'm out here, man. SHILO out, man. Be easy, everybody. Shalom.